So let's start with your basic sweeps. When we're working on the basic sweeps, the most common one against people who don't know what the saddle is they try and internally rotate thinking that they can just get to the base and square them out, like yank their knee out like you would a basic half guard pass where you're trying to yank the knee out and drive the knee away. But doing that from base, that's not really going to work here, and I'll show you why. So let's say I have him in full saddle, and he wants to go to his base this way, so he bumps his leg across, and he rotates out. The problem with this is what he does to his hips. He's cleared my knee, but every single time he does this, look what happens. He places that foot, that knee, on the bottom end of your triangle. All you do is reverse. You switch your feet. So you break the triangle, and you switch to this side, and that's when you have this hip submission. Now, if he's smart, he tries to quick rotate back. As he does, relace in. But if he's not smart, and it happens because people don't know when it's coming. We don't really feel hip submissions until it's too late, right? You're driving your knee pit down. As you drive your knee pit down, you're elevating his knee up. He can't get out. Some people have flexible hips. If they do have flexible hips, get wrist control and hook into his elbow. As you hook his elbow and drive your knee down, that's when you're going to pop his hip joint out. So you're trying to screw this knee down by shoveling underneath this far thigh. And it only happens when he internally rotates with the leg bumped around to open hip side. What I mean by open hip side is closed hip side. This is where you're typically going to fight. Open hip side is where a lot of the passes come. So you don't want open hip side usually, except when he opens himself up to this position. And I suggest don't shoot for this. Don't try and bait him into doing this, because if he scrambles really fast, there's not a lot of structure here, so I'll resist it. Like, I'll let him squirm his way out and then snake this in tight, and I won't let him go. But I don't suggest trying to go for this as a submission. Your first basic sweep, this internal corkscrew, is more of a submission hold. But since we don't qualify hips that often, we don't think of hips when we think of submissions. We don't think of it. I like to think of it more of a sweep, where we encourage him back into position. So as he hips over and I switch legs, he goes back. I'll lock in the saddle again. That's why I think of this as a sweep and not a sub, because he feels that extreme pain on his hip, and it encourages him to go back into position where we want him.